Hey y'all, it's Just Melodies coming to you with another vlog of the week. On this week, we're going to be talking about Lecrae's album, Let the Church Say Amen, which is a collaboration album with Zaytoven. This album actually released on last year, 2018. Now, before we get into this album, okay, I'm wondering why y'all are watching this video and you haven't subscribed. Like, quite frankly, I'm offended. So pause the video right now, pause it, and I want you to click on that subscribe button and support your sister, y'all, okay? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thank you. Now back to the review. Now, when it comes to Lecrae, I have never listened to an entire project before, had been hearing his name for quite some time. And prior to me listening to this album, the only song that I had heard prior was the song Blessed featuring Ty Dolla $ign, which got a lot of radio play. That was like his crossover song. For those who don't know, Lecrae is a rapper, specifically a Christian gospel rapper. Now, he doesn't like to be classified as that, and I'm thinking it's for, you know, a marketing and branding standpoint. Sometimes when you stamp someone as gospel or Christian, you know, people don't feel like they should cross over to, you know, regular radio stations outside of gospel radio stations. So I'm thinking it's for, you know, branding purposes. He wants his music to be for everyone, even people who really don't identify with Christianity. Now, child, I grew up Kojic. That stands for Church of God in Christ, for those that don't know. Now, Church of God in Christ, at least back in my day, you know, this was like 10 plus years ago when I was Kojic, all of that stuff, you know, a Lecrae artist, they would not like. You know, they didn't even like the praise dancing up in the church. And so like then, you know, gospel rap, like they just didn't like it. Even some Kirk Franklin songs, child, it was a little too jumpy for them and we couldn't sing them in the choir. And so they were really picky then. And once again, Church of God in Christ may be much different by now. I mean, that was 10 plus years ago, probably like 12 to 15 years ago, actually. I'm used to listening to, you know, that traditional gospel music, Christian music, like Elevation Worship, or like a Donnie McClurkin, or like Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, you know, and even a little Fred Hammond can get a little jumpy, but you know, like that traditional Christian sound when it comes to music. What I really like about Lecrae is that he's trying to spread a message, a viral message, you know, about God and about Christianity. So him putting together his formula for his artistry, he's like, well, you know, I know that a lot of people, they want a good beat. They want really good production. People love trap music. Side note, my name is Jessica. I love God. I mean, I love God, y'all. And I'm a Christian woman. But I also love trap music. I know, like, I love trap music, y'all. And so I'm actually thankful for people like Lecrae, you know, because I told you in my last video how I just wanted to cut a lot of that stuff out. You know, it just didn't serve me a purpose. But I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to listen to at the gym? Because it can't be like, you know, slow music. Like, I need a beat. I need a beat to work out to. When I'm running on that treadmill, like, I need a really good beat. And so I was like conflicted, and I'm like, dang, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all, like I still been listening to Future while I've been working out. But then I discovered this album and I'm like, okay, I can work out to Lecrae's album instead. It has that trap beat that I'm looking for, but instead of sex, money, drugs, jewelry, women, men, all that other stuff, I can get a true positive message as I'm working out on top of my trap beat. I get the best of both worlds. And so I'm really happy about that. But back to Lecrae and his strategy. Shout out to him for figuring out the formula and bridging the gap in, rap Christian music. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna put Zaytoven, one of the most critically acclaimed producers in trap, I'm gonna throw him on this album, but still no explicit lyrics, still a positive message that I want to send to people. I mean, the two and two that come together, I think is genius. I'm actually going to Lecrae's concert here in Chicago on March 30th. And so definitely another reason for me to get to know some of his music. So by the time that date comes, it's gonna be lit. In the song Get Back Right, Lecrae is kind of talking about his life in the industry and how, sometimes he's fallen short, and sometimes he hasn't made the right decision. You know what I mean? But now, he's trying to get back right. He's self-checking himself. He's done some self-observation, some soul searching, and he's like, yo, this whole industry life and what comes with it, I don't want to get sucked into that. I want to remain a man of values and, remain a man of integrity and remain a part of the kingdom of God. In this song, he kind of reflects on his life, from where he started up until the point where he is now. And he's like, wow, I've come such a long way. And maybe he doesn't give himself enough credit, because I know for me, I'm so caught up sometimes and getting to the next thing and the next level, and then I achieve that and boom, time to get to the next level of that. I'm so caught up in thinking about what's next. Sometimes I don't take the time, not even sometimes, a lot of the times, I don't take a moment and be like, wow, I remember when I prayed for this and here I have it, with the grace of God. And sometimes it's important to take a moment and just appreciate where you are currently in your journey. You've come such a long way. Appreciate that. Never forget to reflect, because as you're so, caught up in thinking about the next thing, you think that you lack and you think that you're falling short and you think that you're not doing enough. And sometimes it's really discouraging. So that's why, for me, it's super important to think about and be thankful for the stage that I'm in now, because I've come such a long way myself. So now we get to the second song of the album, Preach. Now this one has a really cool piano arrangement, and by now y'all should know that I'm a sucker for a really good piano arrangement. And so he kind of mixes in the piano with the trap beat, and it just sounds amazing. In this song, Lecrae talks about how, he's lost a lot of money up until this stage because he refuses to sell out. It's kind of like soul not for sale. And he refuses to lose himself to the money. Money is not that important to him. And as long as he continues to stay true to himself and live in his truth, God is going to do the rest, and he's never going to go without. And so, why sell out? Why? This song is about prayer over worrying. I mean, we talked about this in my last video for Elevation Worship, and it's like worrying serves you no purpose. It gives you nothing but anxiety and uneasiness. Pray about it, do your part, rise up to the challenge, and let's keep going. Imagine the war within yourself, your spirit versus your flesh. Definitely an ongoing battle for myself, and Lecrae talks about how it's an ongoing battle for him. And sometimes, my flesh is kind of at war with God. My flesh wants to still hold on to things, and God is like, girl, if you don't shake those habits, once again, the battles are gonna come. And what's most important is how you react when those battles come, when those trials come. How do you react? That's what says the most about you and where you are in your current walk with God. And so as these things continue to come because of, life, how do you react to them? Are you winning these battles or are you losing? Because if you're losing, them same tests are going to continue to show up in different ways until you pass the test. And so in 2019, we passing the tests of trials, y'all. So we get to the next song of the album, Two Sides of the Game, featuring Waka Flocka Flame. Yeah, I know. Kind of weird, right? And KSO James. So this song addresses the trap lifestyle and how it's glorified, especially in the media and in the rap culture. A lot of these rappers are always talking about these famous drug lords like Pablo Escobar. I mean, 2 Chainz has a restaurant named after Pablo Escobar. Once again, that life is temporary. The money may look great, like you are probably making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars being in that game, but it's all temporary. Either you're gonna end up dead or either you're gonna end up in jail, okay? That's the way it ends. There's just a whole lot of glitz and glamour behind selling drugs and using drugs and killing people, which I don't understand. Some of these people, it is a life that they lived, but I don't think that it should be a thing that, you know, okay, this is a life that you lived. It was wrong though. But they don't, when they rap to you and they deliver the story to you, it's never about, okay, this life was wrong. It's always about, you know, glorifying it. Also, this song talks about how, you know, when you are up and people think that you're winning at whatever it is that you're doing, how, you know, these people gravitate to you. They always want to be around you. They always showing love and all this type of stuff. But when you find yourself in a bad situation, whether it's, okay, man, you getting picked up by the feds, or it's a situation where you fell off, these people are nowhere to be found. Why? Because they weren't your real friends. And also, this doesn't just have to relate to, you know, people who are in the streets. You know, this could be for your regular person who's living life day to day legally. And so you have to be mindful of the people around you and like, okay, are these people around me because they love me and they care about me, or are these people around me because they're opportunists? And so you have to be able to use your discernment and figure out, you know, what's happening around you at all times. All right, so now we get to the next song of the album, Plugged In. This one I find to be hilarious because they're calling Jesus the plug. And when you know, if you know what the plug is, you're like, you know what? If I had to compare God, you know, and had to figure out how to define God, God is the plug whole time. He definitely is the plug. And so for those that don't know, the plug is the person that's always hooking you up. Whatever you need, they there to hook you up. So if you're in the hood, the plug could be, you know, the local neighborhood drug dealer. Or the plug could be the person that's selling you the knockoff sunglasses when you need them, or the knockoff Jordans or something like that. Like, that's the plug. They always have what you need. They always come through. You can count on them to have what you need. And so then to compare that to God, like, man, you know, God really is the plug, and God always comes through when I need him. Even for the things that I don't even know that I need, God knows that I need them. So he's an even better plug, okay? He always comes through. He's always consistent. Whenever I need him, he's there. You know, he's present at all times. Even when I'm not being the best version of myself, God is still there. Lecrae is also talking about how, you know, money doesn't last forever. And so it's important to invest. Stop spending your money on the jewelry and the cars and all these things that are not producing income for you. Invest your money. Multiple streams of income is what we need. And, you know, that's the same thing that J. Cole is always talking about, you know, especially in his last album, KOD, and how a lot of these rappers out here, you know, spending their money because you ain't getting money off the music no more. And so all you got is your show money. How are you spending that money? In the song Holy Water, there's a really cool piano melody in the chorus, something that I caught on to, so listen out for that. This song is about, being unselfish. And, you're not really considered to be winning if the people around you are not winning. And so it's about, okay, I have been blessed with this position and this amount of power. How can I use this power to then position the people around me so that they can have better lives for themselves? When they talk about kind of, what a leader truly is. A leader isn't a person that, bosses people around and has people that follow them. A leader is a person that creates other leaders. Generational wealth doesn't always exist, or doesn't have to always exist when it comes to like a bloodline. Like how generational wealth for just the people that you know, so you can position them and then they can then position the people in their lives. This song also talks about, chasing the vision and not the money. You chase the money, you're gonna wear yourself out. Blue Strips is a song that talks about, the things that people do for money and the extent people will go to just for money, and how, they will drop their values, drop their integrity, drop their character, all for a couple dollars in their pocket. And once again, this is a song where Lecrae kind of talks about the industry and folks out here living the fast life, and how the love of money ultimately leads to a life of destruction. Now, it's nothing wrong with having money. Get to the money, but that love for it is what's going to destroy you. The next song is Only God Can Judge Me. And this is probably one of my favorite songs on the album, where he's just talking about like, man, live your life. Live your life. People are always going to have something to say, whether you're doing great or whether you're doing bad. So why not just live a life that serves the purpose of you being on this earth? Let's not be concerned with what people do. And he talks about how people, the media and people around him, pick apart every little thing that he does. They pick apart his music and all this other type of stuff. And he's just like, he can't allow that stuff to get to him and get in the way of his purpose on this earth. And so don't be concerned with it. Do not concern yourself with people, because let me tell you something about people. People gonna talk about you till the day you die. And even after you die, child, people gonna have something to say about you, whether it's good or bad. So why live a life like that? I mean, that is a life full of bondage. You are a slave to people if you allow people's opinions to influence how you live. Don't allow the outside noise to distract you. The song Yet is kind of talking about how we, as long as we live, we are going to be a consistent work in progress. Because why? We're humans. We're never going to get it right every single time. And how, even if you reach this pinnacle of success, you still haven't arrived yet. People, we live in a culture where, people want to arrive. And it's like, child, you ain't gonna arrive until you dead. All right. So as long as you live, you should always be looking to get to the next level. As long as you live, there is no cap on growth. This song is all about that Godfidence that I've been talking about lately, where Lecrae gets a little, not cocky, but real confident. He like, we talking numbers. You want to throw numbers in my face? We could talk numbers, because I be doing numbers. What are we talking about? And so it's nothing wrong with feeling yourself. Now we get to the next song, I Can't Lose, featuring 24 Hours. When you listen to it and you hear the production and you hear the vocals and the melody, it definitely emulates a Travis Scott song. Like, this is if you hear this song, this could definitely be a song on a Travis album. This song is talking about being shielded from your enemies. The next song is Switch, featuring Shy Speaks. Now, I really like this song because it talks about kind of the renewment of the mind, and how you have to become a new you and a better version of yourself. And a lot of times when you change and for the better, there's like a negative notion behind that. Like, people think you switched up on them. People think that you acting brand new. People think that you're too good for them. But it's like, no, like, I don't think that I'm too good for anyone. But as I continue to grow, maybe I can't be in these type of environments anymore, or maybe I can't continue to be around these certain type of people, not because I think I'm too good, but evil communication corrupts good manners, and you got to be mindful of what's happening around you and what you're so close to. The next song, Can't Block It, Lecrae is talking about these snakes in your life. Now, a lot of you may think that your friend is your friend, but really that friend is an undercover snake. And once again, you got to use your discernment, and you got to be able to weed those kind of people out so they're not in your life to bring discord. This song talks about how, weapons will form. A lot of weapons will form, but they won't prosper because you got God by your side. And, different enemies will come into your life trying to block your blessings, but it's impossible. It's impossible. They don't have the power to do that because you got God. So now we get to the next song, Fly Away. Now, this one is the first time that you get some versatility in the production. All of the album up until this point has been heavy trap, consistently heavy trap, and everything's been kind of sounding the same. And so, it's nice to get like a switch up in sound for this one. The song Fly Away is like an extension of the song Switch, where it's like, okay, I would like to escape. You know what I mean? I would like to escape the current environment that I'm in, and I just need to get away for my sanity. And it's like, no hard feelings. I don't love you any less. I still love you so much, but we can't be around each other. All right, so now we get to the last song of the album, By Chance, featuring Verse Simmons. This song talks about how, nothing happens by chance, and there's no such thing as luck. What happens and the good things that happen in your life are a result of God's will and God's grace and God's favor shining over your life, and how, it's important to identify with that. Nothing happens out of coincidence. It's all God's will. The flow of this song reminds me a lot of Meek Mill. By Chance kind of talks about that grind stage that we're in before we cross over to the other side and we start to see the fruits of our labor, and how in that stage, woo child, we test it. Our faith is really tested because it's like, man, should I keep going? Times are really tough. Y'all keep going. And it's really important as you're in that grind stage that you continue to position yourself to be able to hear God, hear him when he's directing you down a certain path. It's really important that you don't confuse what it is that you want to do and what you think is best for you, and that's contrary to what God has for you. All right, y'all, so now we've made it to the end of the album, and here's my thoughts on it. I think that it's a good album with, great lyrical content, a great message. I love the collaboration with Zaytoven. My only thing when it comes to the production is how there's no versatility. Every song is a trap beat, and I know it's supposed to be a trap album, but I would have liked some more versatility when it came to the production. A lot of the songs kind of sounded the same, and the only time that you did get a different sound slightly was the last two songs of the album. So that would be kind of my only thing about it. I'm gonna rate this album a 7 out of 10. You all let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. If you like this video, make sure you click up that thumbs up sign. If you relate to my content and you enjoy it, share it to all your social media pages. And most importantly, if you didn't do what I told you to do at the beginning of this video. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thanks for watching, y'all.